Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Rwagnation League Grand Prix here in Russia at Sochi. I'm Ben Raggan McConnell, and joining me on the commentator's desk is, as usual, is Jess Games. How you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Very good indeed. I'm actually, you know what? I know that a lot of people don't like this track, but this is genuinely a really fun track for me. Yeah, you got to be careful on the track limits. You can't afford to make any mistakes, and you've got loads of opportunities to overtake. And I think that's what makes it so good to watch. The whole run up towards what is officially turn 2, but everyone knows it as turn 1, is just so big. It's honestly incredible to watch how it goes down. Speaking of incredible, the championship for drivers is still on, and the battle seems to be going all the way to the very final race. Top Tom is P1 with 196 points. You got Smitty at P2 with 177, and then Andy P3, Yenna P4, Topjack P5, and then at Cruise 6th, Mateo 7th, Vex at 8th, Yonti 9th, and Jesper in 10th place. Now, the sort of P5 down to P9 territory is all really close together. But even so, for the top 10, it's actually still pretty close even there. Danico is right there on the back of Jesper. Could actually jump into the top 10 and secure himself an invite going into the next. But Gelband, Hugo's, Copy, they all could do the same thing. There's still very much a chance for them to get themselves into that top 10 and secure that invite so they don't have to fight for their chance to survive. The Constructors, well, the title's been decided. We know that for sure. But who's going to get P2? Because McLaren are currently sat P2 with 214 points. Mercedes in 3rd with 206. Then you got AlphaTauri 4th, Williams 5th, Renault 6th, Haas 7th, Ferrari 8th, Red Bull 9th, and Alfa Romeo. The big losers down at the very, very back. But the standings coming into this Grand Prix. Qualifying was a little bit quiet, so we are going to see the 10 drivers, which was Matteo on pole position. Who would have thought it? Top Tom in P2. Smitty at P3, Jesper P4. Really looking good going into this Grand Prix. And P5, you got Yonti. P6, you have Beaker. I think that's probably Beaker's best qualifying so far this season. Assassin in P7. Copy in P8. Actually looking very good going into this Grand Prix as well. Dennis, not for the first time, getting himself into into the top 10, P9. And then Fossetti P10. Vexit will be 11th with Chenjay in 12th. 13th, we'll have Lou in the Williams. All right, a quick lap time. A little hot lap run from Yonti. He's going to show us how to drive this circuit. You saw the F2s, but this is how it's going to be done in an F1. So this actually, DRS gets up in here. So it's really long, all the way down to turn 2. That little kink you just saw for a right-hander is turn 1. Turn 2, brake at just before the 100-meter bar, get right down to gear 3 and cut both corners quite nicely, but not too far. Very easy to invalidate or get warnings and penalties. Long left-hander here, which is turn 4. You can set yourself up quite nicely to break under the Rolex board for turn 5 here, and actually quite an opportunity to go for a send if you get alongside. Turn 6 is a bit of an awkward one. You want to break when the curve starts and just cut the inside a little bit and get a nice smooth exit. You're coming out in towards turn 7, move over to the left-hand side, break at the safety car box, and get right down the gears, cut right through the inside for turn 8. Turn 9, this is a left-hander. It's actually then into turn 10, which is that quick left there. And then now the hairpin. And I'd say this is one of the most important corners, the second most important corner, I would say. Because DRS gets enabled here, it's a really strong, solid overtaking opportunity as you come right the way down. And even like a little left-hander bend here. And you can go for an outside move here into a hard break zone for a chicane. It's a very delayed chicane because the left-hander comes quite late. And then a long sweepy left here into a hard left uphill slightly onto the curb. And then round through into a right-hander. Watch out on the left-hand side. The wall comes in quite suddenly and can catch you very much buried in there. Into the second-to-last corner is now just a double right-hander to finish this lap. Into the final corner then. Cut both corners as you have. And then exit Dreams. That one here there is by far the most important important corner, on the track. Because it does set you up for an overtake opportunity going in towards turn 2. And I think realistically, this is going to be one of those races where we have just constant fights non-stop. So, Jess, I need a little bit of a cheeky prediction from you, please. I want to hear, do you think Matteo could go from P1 and finish P1? Because I think he had pace last week, just not quite enough. And the consistency, he did run into the back of someone, which caused him to get wing damage. But based on his qualifying alone, he's looking pretty good for this.
Yeah, he is as well, but Russia's also a track where people can get loads of penalties. I've seen that in many league races myself as well. That could decide a race, and especially in a 100% race, we could get more penalties, and Matteo is just prone to getting penalties. And with people like Top Tom, some idiot who usually like to keep it clean. I think they could be rewarded today. So if Matteo wants to win this race, he's got to try and avoid the penalties if he can, because it's so easy just to get penalties around here. I think most people get penalties around here. You're not human if you don't get penalties around here. That's the most important thing. But yeah, I think Matteo's going to find it hard, but we'll see. It's quite overcast right now, but I'm seeing some dark clouds in the sky. So can we see some rain maybe? I don't know.
I think we might, I think we might just see some rain. Furball, I have refreshed. Yeah. It is the refreshings has been done. I'll do it again though. No problem. Whilst we're waiting here. There you go. Now it's your turn to spam away. I actually think Vexit did a really good job last week. He did only get P3, and again, for the second race in a row, he did have a penalty, which he could really do with avoiding. Now, again, coming down to that consistency side of things, this is a track where consistency is super important. You cannot afford to be getting any of those warnings and the penalties, and it's one of those tracks as well where once you've got one, it's so hard to avoid getting any more than that. So we shall see. 13 drivers here today for this F1 100% GP, and I have no idea who could win this.
I think Top Tom needs a good result today if he wants to solidify his championship position, and I think somebody needs to as well. But I'm a bit surprised Vexit and Chenjay qualified low down in short qualifying, because it was short qualifying, I believe, yesterday. So yeah, I think because they're so used to the full qualifying at RNL, that probably got them a little bit. So, but Chenjay won last week, obviously, as we saw in the highlights. So that's why it's so unpredictable. We got the engineering racing in there as well instead of Yenab. So I wonder if his usual engineering duties can turn into actual on-track pace. He's probably got to do both at the same time, but his main focus is himself and helping his teammate, I think, this week. I think he's just here to have some fun as well, but some idiot is still in this fight for the drivers, so they don't want half of the battle. They want to do the other half.
Yeah, exactly. I find it interesting that we have such a range in tyre strategies. Some people inside the top 10 have those medium tyres. Some people outside of the top 10 have soft tyres. I'm looking at Danico and Fossetti here. Well, Fossetti is in the top 10 technically. But yeah, the strategy game in F1, in 100% races is actually really quite a fascinating one. And I'm keen to see who benefits the most from this, because it does strike me as a track where you have to be in that train. If you fall outside that train, it's just so hard to recover. But a lot of time can be gained, a lot of time can be lost just by making those slight mistakes when it comes to it. And, this is definitely a track where you can't afford to have mistakes, as we are now coming back into our grid boxes to get ourselves underway with the 53 laps of Sochi. Matteo leading us off.
Yep, and the soft tyres, they can last 30 laps. Tyre degradation, not too bad around this track as well. And the hards could potentially last the whole race. Ideally, you don't want to be touching the hards, but that's just plan B if you want to use it. But yeah, not surprised to see some people starting on the mediums though, because usually the alternate strategy works out. I'll hand it over to you, Ben.
Alrighty. Sochi, RNL, F1. What more do you need? Lights are on then. And away we go. Very clean start from Matteo. I think Tom may have actually got an even better start. Oh, look at the start he's got already into P1 by the time we get towards the first corner. Although it does mean that Matteo will actually get the run as well he needs, but he's going to be a very defensive line coming through in towards it. There's a Williams there that's had a bit of an issue. That looks like it's a Vexit, although he is going 3 wide in towards turn 2, and that has actually not quite worked out for him. Chenjay's lost out substantially there. Is now at the back of the grid. Fossey still hanging on. You got some idiot actually having a fight there alongside Yonti. And even the race leader is under quarrel as well. It's actually 3 wide coming into it. Some idiot going to slide down the inside of both of them. Get himself race lead. And oh, wow. Some idiot. What a fantastic start from him.
I know we have 13 drivers in this race, but my oh my, we're already having some battles already in lap 1. It's all about quality more than quantity. And Matteo has been the biggest loser out of the top 3. Some idiot being the biggest gainer as well. And yeah, look at Yonti as well, but he's under pressure from Matteo once again as Matteo gets back P3 as well. But yeah, I think it just came down to the starts really from both Mateo and Top Tom, which let them down a little bit because somebody was very, very keen to get a getaway right away. We can see Falsey trying to get past Tristan up into P9. That's going to be tight, and he almost hit the wall. I think the Ferrari's got end-plate damage, so would he go into the pits or would he stay out? I don't know, but it's a bit of a risky move there, but unfortunate for these two. But at least we have no safety car so far, and some idiot's still leading.
So Falsetti actually ran into the back of Assassin, and that's caused him to get wing damage as well. And he's coming into the pit lane now with Assassin. They're both going in to go and get their wings replaced and change of tyres, and probably a change of boxes, because I imagine that there was a couple of brown stains in there somewhere. Race leader is some idiot. The telemetry is bugged currently. You'll have to bear with for now. He is very comfortably out there. He does have Top Tom in tow. The telemetry is worse now than I've ever seen it before. I've never seen it this bad.
It's jumbled like everywhere, like you can't really see it. When ghosting off, it's hard to tell as well who's probably having issues. So hopefully it'll sort itself out. But meanwhile, we got a Williams fighting with, I think it's Vexit and Chenje. They were battling last race, and they're battling this race. Not at the front though, at the back. So they're pretty even on pace, it looks like. It's just a shame that they can't climb their way up just yet. But they're on the medium, so expect them to be a lot faster later on in the race. As the AWS graphic said that we could see a two-stop, but I don't know, it's hard to tell these days, but since Tydeck is again not too bad, I think two soft synths will be the way to go. They'll either be doing it medium soft or soft medium soft, so you know, I wonder the ones on the mediums will want to be on soft for longer than everyone else, but we'll see.
Well, that's also whether or not we're going to see any rain. I mean, we've got some heavy clouds above us, and they do look really grey. So there is a possibility we might see some rainfall at some point in this GP. Usually, the person who would give us this information tells if there's any rain. It's currently sat P13 on the grid, so we're not actually unaware of who's going to do what and where. We now have DRS properly enabled. Are we going to see any overtakes? I think we're going to be seeing Danico going on Beaker, because Beaker has no DRS. Danico does, and Danico will get through and cover himself off. Also, we've got Chenje and Tristan having a bit of a swap of places as well. Chenje through on those mediums up to P9. He had a rough first lap and pretty solid second lap, and a really good start into his third right now.
Yeah, Tristan's actually still fighting for position, and there's been a contact there from Tristan and Chenja, I think it was, as well. Vexit was like, thank you very much, that's my position. He's back up into P10, so unfortunate for Tristan. I think he'll probably go into the pits, or it may just been a slight tap and he would be okay. Doesn't look like he's got any damage at all, so he got away scot-free for that. But if you're just on the inside there, you're probably going to be very, very unlucky in that corner. So unfortunately, that's what Tristan had to deal with. But there's still a long way to go in this race. Maybe with only 13 drivers on this grid today, more opportunities for people to score points, because only 2 drivers need to not score in order for you to score. Actually 3, not 2. I'm not doing maths correctly. But yeah, top 10 score points in this league there's every week, and only 3 drivers will not be able to score points. So all it takes is one person to make a mistake. Assassin's already made a mistake already with Balsetti. So Tristan's technically still in a good spot right now. He's still 2.7 seconds behind Vexit, but he's losing out all the time. So I wonder if he's going to go in. If he stays out, so I think no damage for him. So lucky him.
Yeah, I'll lucky him indeed. The top 3, all of them just set new fastest laps. So Immediate set the new fastest, then Top Tom beat it, and then Immediate Mateo beat it after that. So they're all really close. The lap times weren't exactly massively different, but it does play that mental factor, especially when you see P4 didn't gain the fastest lap. You know, that's where you then have to think, oh, is he losing pace? Is he dropping off? Is he only a couple of thousandths off? Where is the lap time difference? Mateo right now looks to be absolutely flying. He's right up the gearbox of Top Tom. He's got quite a lot of ERS to play with as well. This is looking good for him overall. He just needs to maintain that consistency. My worry, and this is specifically for Mateo at the minute, is the same problem that Vexit has just got. I'm worried that Mateo's going to get the 3-second time penalty just like Vexit.
Yeah, Vexit getting one already. I think this is not going to be his first penalty, like you said earlier on in the broadcast as well, because it's that mentality, that mindset that you're trying to avoid getting more penalties, so then you end up pushing more, and then it's a vicious cycle, and then you get more penalties. So, yeah, Vexit's got a lot of work to do, but very happy with everyone else keeping it clean. I'll keep an eye on the warnings throughout the stream as well, because obviously I'm not the one streaming, so I can check the warnings. So I'll keep an eye on them. But Matteo looking quite good on Top Tom. Maybe Top Tom's struggling on pace. Maybe he was pushing a lot in that first lap, whereas Matteo not so much and trying to conserve his tyre wear a little bit. But look at Matteo's ERS. He's on about 90% right now. Top Tom's on 76, so Matteo doing a lot better. I think it could be advantage Matteo. He's going to go for the move in the long straight of turn 1 and turn 2. Vex is already out of the race, and I think he's retired in the pit lane, but Matteo has P3 still, but he could get P2 heading towards this little kink. I like to call it turn 3, this little kink here, and then at this end of the straight turn 4, but can he do it? I think it's a little bit too further back to do it, but he's definitely giving it oomph, isn't he? I'm liking this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is fantastic. Matteo really demonstrating what he has got built up in him. I think, honestly, when it comes down to the overall... Oh, bit of a twitch there. Overall pace, I think Matteo is actually the fastest car on track. Virtual safety car deployed. Is that because of Falsetti and Assassin? Or is that because of Vexit's car?
Let me have a look. Have any of the two got damage, Falsetti or Assassin?
I don't see any.
It may be. I don't know. I haven't seen any VSC shooter people retiring in the pits. I've never seen that happen. So it may.
I know it was a thing in previous game, but not in this one.
Yeah, it's very, very odd. But hopefully we won't get a similar situation to what we saw in USA, though. Touch wood. So
that would suck.
That would be an absolute nightmare. But they're gonna give it their all anyway, at least, and it might be something to do with Falsetti and Assassin, but they don't get damaged, so it may just be someone going for a spin. But again, how will that cause a safety car or VSC? I don't know. But anyway, DRS enabled again. We're back racing. Top Tom. I don't know what's happened to Top Tom, but Top Tom's gained huge on Tom Idiot there. He's going to go have a lunge on the right-hand side of your screen into turn 1, and I think he's made it stick. Yes, he has. He's well clear, and Matteo's cut the corner. He's done a Carlos Sainz / Roman Grosjean by the looks of things, but it's allowed Top Tom to pull away just a little bit. Into turn 3 now. Some idiot could go for the lunge here. Nope, he can't. I'm almost certain with that cut Matteo did, he's on a warning now at the moment, so it could be advantage Some Idiot. So there may be advantage Yonti as well. The top 5 are still close together. Jesper as well could be in this too. So one of the Haas teammates will be working together. Last week it was the Racing Point teammates. Now this week seems to be the Haas teammates. It's great to see Yonti up there. I like this.
I've missed this from Yonti. I mean, he's always been a quick driver, but he hasn't been a super practiced driver. And he's not, even today, he's not a super practiced driver, but he's able to keep up with these guys and really start, contesting them for, well, potentially even a podium. Some idiot might even have a little look-see here, around the outside of Top Tom. A bit deep from Top Tom because of how tight he had to take that corner, but some idiot can't get through. This has, however, allowed Matteo to get right back in this fight and be right onto the gearbox of some idiot. I can guarantee you this is going to be a 5-1 all the way through because it is just so easy to overtake when you've got that DRS. It's also relatively, I wouldn't say easy, but not quite that hard to defend, to be honest. You just hold the center of the track and then just see what the other driver does. You can squeeze as much as you need to. Just make sure that they've got that really tight line going into it. And we'll see now whether or not he is going to go for an overtake. Lots of ERS being deployed here from some idiot. He's going to cruise up alongside him. I don't think he's going to have it done in time. I think Top Tom's actually stuck on the inside. I can't quite see. Yes, there's a bit of touch between them, but no damage. Just a couple of code browns. And actually, Matteo's going right into this. Look at this. Is he going to go for a twofer? I think he might even go for a twofer here. He's trying it. He can't get it there. And actually, Top Tom's still stuck around this. He's not backing out of that. He has actually to fall into P3. But Matteo showing what he has got, and he has got the cojones to do more than that.
Wow, Matteo, bravo. Even though he's got pole, he's not giving up without a fight, I have to say. He's just taking it easy, being a bit patient as well, and probably going to take more risks later on. But this is the Matteo I definitely want to see. He saw his teammate do well last week and win the race. He wants to do the same and have both teammates actually win a race this season. As Tristan is in the pit, so he must have had some issues, or he may be going for a strategy call. I will check that in a second. But next DRS tray, I think it's going to be who blinks first, I think, with this tray now. Apart from if you're some idiot, because you don't have DRS. whereas Matteo, Top Tom, Yonti and Jesper do. Copy's now in this train as well, which is great to see, but he's a little bit too further back to do anything of it.
I think a single lap undercut here is going to be huge. I really think that Matteo should wait till he gets near his pit window and then pit one lap earlier than he would normally do, just to jump some idiot. I think he will get that quite nicely. Might even be able to build a gap pretty easily. Overcut here, I don't think is going to work very well at all. It's a very, very awkward pit lane. You can't afford to be losing anything. Matteo going for the move here on some idiot. That is him through into race lead now. Now, Samidia, who will fall to P2, is still very close to the back of him, but he does kind of want Matteo to stay as race leader because he isn't doing particularly well on the ERS side of things. Only 25% coming through turn 4. Into turn 5, he gets 30. Yeah, he really could do with charging it a little bit now and seeing what opportunities arise later.
Yeah, I agree with you that, Ben, as well. And Top Tom's also doing well on his ERS too, so... You know, somebody I think must be pretty worried. Yonti's doing well on the ERS. Jesper, I don't know why he's not using that much, even though he's in that train. I don't know why he's not using overtake. I wonder if he would have been closer if he tried to get past his teammate. But I think there may be team orders going on it. As we saw, B could get his first penalty. So now 2 drivers getting penalties, both of them are Alfa Romeos. And it was obviously Vexit who retired early. He also had a penalty.
Yeah. Top Tom is really struggling with that end of the mid-straight chicane. He's not carrying the pace he needs through there, and that's actually one of his main downfalls. He's carrying too much into the first right-hander and then not being able to get the XE needs through the second. That ultimately has ruined his lap time, or his lap pace, should I say. But also now Samidia losing ground on Matteo. 7-8 tenths now between them. Matteo setting a purple lap is a fantastic result from him. But now... Samidia has to deploy the ERS that he really needed to be saving. He's having to deploy it just to close in a little bit more. And also Yonti, who was just kind of cruising before with his 64% at the end of the braking zone for turn 2, has actually got an opportunity now to get aggressive on Top Tom.
If I was Yonti, I would go for the move now. Why not as well? If you don't go for it, then there's no point in racing, to be honest. But I wonder if he's just feeling a bit patient as well. And I think it's starting to get a bit more brighter here in Sochi. I think the sun is starting to come out a little bit. There's still some dark clouds as well, so in some parts of the circuit, so we can't really tell what the weather is doing. It may stay like this for the whole race, which is what some of the drivers will be hoping for at this moment in time. But you can see Matteo is just on it in terms of pace right now. Out of DRS is some idiot already, and I think that is because some idiot is just trying to see if he can keep ahead of Top Tom. That's all he needs to do at the moment. Get ahead of Top Tom. He's the only one that can fight for the championship. No one else. So I think, to be honest, he doesn't care if Matteo's ahead of him at this moment in time, but he wants to get as many points as he can. But I don't know what I would be in this situation, to be honest. But honestly, I would want to take the win and with Top Tom stay P3 so I can have the closing the gap even more. But some idiot needs to do well to keep the fight alive, but I'm not. Will the fight go to Brazil next week, or can it be decided tonight?
I think it has to. I think the only way it can be decided tonight is if Top Tom scores the full 25.
Okay.
And some idiot doesn't score anything. I think is the only way that it can be decided.
Oh, I like this. Right, both of these drivers need to score points. There we go.
Yes. Top Tom is currently 19 ahead. So I think 6 points or more. If he scores 6 points more than some idiot, or 7 points more than some idiot, it's over. It's done.
But they're close enough anyway, so it's probably decided regardless. And I think both of these drivers will probably want to go take the fight to Brazil anyway. So I think that's what they're doing. I think that's why Top Tom is not giving it everything right now, because he knows he'll still be in the fight no matter what. But if
it's Top Tom who's leading, so if he just maintains this gap that he's currently got, he won't win. But yeah, like you say, he'll go to Brazil. But if he gets ahead of some idiot, and also somehow manages to get those 7 points that he needs more than what some idiot gets, then this genuinely could happen. So for example, if Top Tom wins, so some idiot comes to P2, Top Tom is champion.
Well, I think so. 20. I thought it's 6 points between 25 and 18. they need to get fastest lap or something. Top Tom needs to get fastest lap and the win, right?
So it's 7 points between P1. So 25 for P1, 18 for P2.
Oh, right.
So,
it is 7, not 6.
So if Smitty comes P2 and Top Tom gets P1, then yeah, Top Tom wins. But
that's
lap could play a
unlikely.
factor. But here's why I think Smitty will do better than Top Tom in this race. Because this is a race all about consistency. This track is so focused around not getting those penalties, which is something Smitty has done time and time again. He's managed to consistently go the entire race without getting a single penalty. Top Tom, on the other hand, tends to get a fair few penalties, and that ruins that whole race confidence, if you like. On a track like this, you can't afford it.
No, you can't. Beaker's setting the fastest lap, which is good at the moment since he's P8 on track at the moment. But yeah, it's very, very windy, some of these track limits at the moment. Danny Coe getting a penalty as well. Wood speeding in the pit lane and the entry so tight into there as well. Beaker getting another one. He just can't stop getting one at the moment. But yeah, some idiot needs to fight for the victory. Same with Top Tom as well. And I think the two Hasses want to score well as well, because any one of these drivers that are here today, they've got a top 10 on the line. If the ones in the bottom don't get a good result, then they have to qualify next season. And that's not what they want. Beaker almost lost out in the qualifiers, and we don't want to see it happen this time, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, Assassin getting a 3-second time penalty. He's now joining the crew. It seems to be, if you're in that bottom half of the grid, you're going to get a penalty, it looks like. Nobody in the top half yet having one, so pay attention to that one. We'll see how this one goes. Mateo, race leader still, did actually have a good run earlier where he was pulling away from Smitty and Co. Mateo now is giving me telemetry, which is good information. 72% tire left on the rear left. That is the lowest he's got overall. Smitty at 73, Top Tom at 71. So yeah, Smitty being the best of the three, which is not a surprise when it comes to the tire management. However, he will, at that rate, he will have an extra lap or two on the others based on his tire management right now.
Yes, I can agree with that as well. And Top Tom, I think, will need to get a move on to manage his tyres a bit better as well. But I think with the dirty air, I think I'm not surprised that he's the one faring the worst right now, because he's stuck in a huge sandwich at the moment compared to everybody else. So Top Tom will need to get a move on, of course, as well. But there not many gravel tracks for people to go into. I think it's just mainly walls and barriers. And what's happened to Danny Coe? He's retired in the pits, it looks like. I think it is a pit lane retirement. So that's a shame, because he's not doing too bad. So I wonder if it was just a wheel issue or anything like that, or did he bid in the final corner? No, but he retired in the pit lane as his AI's moving. What a shame.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but seems as though he was having some issues prior to that anyway.
Yes.
Luckily, we have a top 6 train all the way. And this is fantastic to watch. Copy kind of just hanging in there. He's only just within that 1 second margin, closing it a tiny bit, but he doesn't quite have the toe that the drivers ahead of him do have. Yes, but in a similar sort of situation too. Top Tom actually starting to be at risk now. He is 7.5 tenths back on Smitty. If the top 2 decide at any moment to just pull away, there's really not a lot that Top Tom can do about it, because he's not going to have the suck that he needs in order to bring himself closer.
Yeah, he just needs to find that extra grip as well, and go for the lunge and make sure that he puts people under pressure, probably at maybe the latest possible opportunity than everybody else, and then they'll be like, right, I have to respond to that quickly, and that could be prone to more mistakes. As Falsetti is going for a move past Assassin. This time is a bit more cleanly, but Assassin saying, no, thank you. You're not having this position easy. This is a fight for an extra point in the championship standings. Even though this is Falsetti's first race as a driver, he's still giving it oomph right now. He's not giving up. He's going to go for another cheeky send here. Oh, he's gone off just past turn 6 and 7 now, heading towards turn 8, and I think they're keeping it very relatively clean compared to what I saw them at the start of the race. So they must have learned from their mistakes, which is good hindsight, I have to say. If you learn from your mistakes, then you will be rewarded. And some idiot was about 5 tenths behind Matteo. No, 3 tenths behind Matteo just a moment ago. Now he's dropped it back a little bit. And I wonder if he's going to go for the send now. Nope, he does not. I think it's just going to be about strategy and undercuts, I think, at the moment, because they're just not budging.
Although somebody has closed in so much more than he had previously. And also Top Tom's in a similar boat. He's actually closed in a couple of tenths as well, which is useful for him. Yonti has been sat on the back of Top Tom for such a long time now. This is great news for him, because if you remember last week in Bahrain, he replicated pretty much the exact same thing. He was stuck behind 20 for most of the race, and he could have gone for it. He could have gained a little bit more if he had a bit more confidence about him. That could have been a position he took with ease. But yeah, like you say, he's holding on quite nicely, and the whole of the top 6 is just doing such a good job of managing everything, not burning away too much ERS, not melting your tires into little tiny pieces of rubber. And this is the stuff you like to see. As again, Assassin and Falsetti are having a bit more of a scrap than they were before. Assassin did close in towards turn 2. And they are staying as is for now, which is Div or Falsetti P9 and Assassin in P10.
Yes, indeed. Still going for it. I'm liking this as well. And all it takes is one small mistake, and that will cause a bit of issues. I thought somebody was going to go for it in the final few corners on Matteo there as well. He's ever so close to Matteo's gearbox at the moment. I'm just looking at the ERS, even though Matteo's doing a little bit better, so we could push more of the ERS very, very quickly, where somebody has to save a little bit going on the straight. Somebody's got some brilliant straight line speed, but Matteo trying to break the slipstream into turn 1. Easy does it, does Matteo, and good defending from him. What about Top Tom on somebody? I don't think he's faring any better, to be honest, as well. They're just eating into their tyres the more they stuck in this DRS train as well, but fair play to them. They're not getting any penalties so far. I'm not sure how many warnings that they're on, but they are, some of them they may be playing it safe, but if they make mistakes now, it could affect them for the rest of the race, and it may hinder them a little bit. So we'll see what happens. I think Matteo has a big advantage right now of being the leader, as it were, but I wonder, would you rather be a leader in this situation in Russia in this DRS train, or would you rather be the chaser, the one that's actually trying to go for a position?
I don't know. I mean, on a track like this, DRS is really strong. Obviously, it's in 2 key areas which allow you to gain so much, but some idiot actually lost so much time suddenly on Matteo, and actually that allowed Top Tom to get really close to the back of them. So now expect some sort of battling going in towards turn 2. I expect to see Top Tom going for a bit of a attack on some idiot, probably looking for an inside line in towards turn 2-3. Needs to be careful though that it doesn't impact either of their races, because they're ultimately wanting that P1. I know they're fighting the Drivers' Championship as well, and they are literally holding it down, but this is crucial. We cannot afford for either of them to be having some real dramas here. Chose not to use that ERS button, and the same sort of scenario for Yonti, although he's a little bit further back than he has been previously.
Yeah, but he's still keeping in with these people, and if people get penalties, it may help Yonti a little bit, because I know Yonti likes to keep it penalty-free anyway, so Yonti may just stay in this little train for a little bit and see what happens. I wonder when these guys are going to pit, to be honest. They last 30 laps around there, so I think around about lap 28, 29, we'll probably see the first pit stops. And I think the track temperatures are increasing ever so slightly. And Chenje, the only driver on the medium tyres, everyone else on the soft tyres right now. So it'll be interesting to see how Chenje does towards the time where the softs start to degrade, and then he could catch up. But I don't think he's in that position at the moment, even if he's 9 seconds down. So I don't think we get to see that. But it's a shame that we've not seen any medium runners, but apart from Chenje, to see that comparison.
They were on mediums earlier. You know, Beaker, Dev, Assassin, Tristan, these guys had already been doing medium. Well, Dev didn't, but the others did. And Chenje could still make this work. He's only 10 seconds away from P6. And that, whilst it sounds like a crazy amount of time, the difference that he can make, it will be huge. Yonti is the first of the top 6 to blink. He's in. And like I said, you know, 1 lap earlier can make all the difference. His lowest tyre is 63% on that rear left. He was actually looking pretty good when it came to that overall tyre wear anyway, so it was good to see. Let's see what he goes on to then. Is it going to be a set of mediums?
Yes.
They look yellow to me. Yeah.
I'm a bit shocked. I thought they would have gone a lot later and maybe extended the stint, but the undercut's quite powerful. So again, not really that surprised. Maybe they want to do a long soft stint at the end because they can go the distance. So I think short soft stint at the start, long medium stint now, or maybe shorter, and then long soft stint at the end to be on the softer tyre. But I would like to see the temperatures as well in these tyres. I wonder if it's due to the tyre temperatures that they're pitting ever so early, but I think we're going to see how Matteo and Tommy respond to that, because Yonti's only in P7. So that was an alright pit stop, I think, from Yonti. So these guys will need to have a bit of a wake-up call, and Yonti was still in that train. So I'm just seeing what the pit lane losses around this track. 24.5 seconds. So I'll look at the gaps between leader in a minute, but this could get very, very close between the likes of Yonti and the soft runners, but only time will tell, of course. Yonti needs to get a move on if he wants to be in the race lead, but I wonder if any of the top guys will come in. Matteo's not.
Oh, Top Tom's in.
Top Tom's in, so... And yes, Spursy going in? Yes, he does. I'm guessing they're doing a counter strategy. Obviously, you can't be at the same time, but Top Tom, I think, is probably doing the right thing to respond to that. And he's doing the undercut on somebody at Matteo anyway. So at least he's doing an undercut of some sort, but just not on Yonti. Yep. He's not worried about Yonti at this point. Yonti's position, I think, does not matter in this race for him. Top Tom comes out. Where is Yonti? Yonti is going towards the final corner. I think Top Tom is going to be ahead only just, but you never know. It's going to be a...
No, he's going to get him, I think.
I think he's going to get him. I think the undercut's going to be powerful on this track.
Oh, no, he's not going to...
Oh, it's very tight, very, very tight. I think the outlap, I think, hurt him a little bit for Yonti, and that's allowed Top Tom to get the position. Will that trigger somebody and Matteo to stay out a bit longer, knowing that Top Tom got ahead of Yonti?
Well, here's the other thing to think about. Samidia should really have pit on the last lap, because he was losing time to Matteo. Matteo had a lot of ERS that he had available to him to deploy. He has been deploying it. He knows he's got to get a really good in-lap. I expect to see him coming into the pits this lap. But Samidia can't get into the DRS range again. He's got nothing to pull himself back in. So he should really have boxed a lap earlier than Matteo, gone for the undercut, trying to recover that little bit of ground that he lost. And now, I bet you how this is going to go down like this. Both these two are going to box right here, I reckon. Matteo stays out, Samidia is in. So, all right, still good for Samidia. Matteo is about to be P4 when he goes into the box and comes out again. Samidia, I reckon, will be behind Yonti.
Yeah, well, I think so as well. Yonti did the right thing for pitting now as well, as he's gained so much time. Copy has followed some idiot in, which I think was the right move to make as well. I think Matteo is going to lose out on all of this as well. I think everyone else has probably jumped the gun, and I think Matteo's realised I should have probably pitted. So here comes Top Tom now, and Yonti. It's going to be very close. Yonti's still on the back of Top Tom, so this could be very spicy. He's going for it at least. And let's see, some idiot. Oh, so once again, staying out a few laps later just helps some idiot. I think that's why Matteo's staying out. Could we see Matteo still keep his race lead? We don't know, but some idiot's pulling away like no tomorrow. Both times we saw Yonti being overtaken, not just by Top Tom, but by some idiot. Now Top Tom's being overtaken by some idiot. So this is good.
It has worked really wonderfully for them. Chen Jay, 3-second time penalty for him. And that is bad news bears. He does not want to be in that sort of scenario. But yeah, just going back to the whole pit stop situation. I think the issue was more that Top Tom didn't push.
Yes.
I think Yonti pushed too hard on his outlap and it didn't work out. I think Top Tom didn't push on his outlap, whereas Samidia then managed to pull out in front of him and was in a really, really big problem.
Matteo's in.
Yep. Let's see where he finishes then. I reckon he's going to be behind all these.
You said that with some idiot, and now look where he is. So you never know. Don't count your chickens before they hatch, but We'll see what happens. Chenjay now
Oh.
takes the race lead. Oh, it could be closer than we
think I
think,
might be
Ben.
wrong.
Yeah, you're wrong again. I'm
hold on,
right.
hold
Actually,
on.
no. Hold the fort. Hold the.
It's Smitty.
Here comes somebody. Here comes Mateo. It's going to be the closest battle, I think, in the pit lane. And Mateo could just hold
He's
on.
through.
Oh, some idiot's through. Some idiot's through. I don't know if the undercut or the overcut worked. I think due to the fact that somebody was so much better on pace, I think he just edged in there. But my oh my, that was really, really good from both of them. But I think it could have gone either way by the looks of things.
My worry now, though, is Smitty is going to be under so much pressure, and it's the ERS problem for Smitty. He's always had this issue where he burns through his ERS a lot. Mateo has actually got quite a substantial amount there, like 32%. Then you got Top Tom, who's on 50%. He's loving life. Yonti, who burnt a lot to try and overtake Top Tom when Smitty was coming out of the pit lane, and he couldn't gain anything from it, and he actually just burnt his battery right down. So now it's a case of how does Smitty maintain this position when he knows that people behind him are going to be giving it a fair bit of a push later when they've got themselves into a nice cozy position. I think Mateo's natural pace is already faster than Smitty, and now he just needs to make sure that he continues this performance, wears down Smitty's battery even more, and then eventually just lines up that overtake going into towards turn 2.
Yes, I think that's what I would do, to be honest, as well. Keep it cool, keep it calm, keep it collected as well, and then your tyres should be absolutely fine. Like, for the likes of Mateo, he's going to warm up his tyres now, whereas somebody that's had plenty of opportunities to get his tyres up to temperature. I think Top Tom and Yonti more now, but they can't get past at the moment. This is what somebody needs right now. He wants to be ahead of Top Tom. He doesn't want Top Tom to be ahead of him at all, so this could be a very good fight heading into Brazil. The gap will just close even more to I don't know how many points. I think if somebody was to win this race and Top Tom would be P3, I think it could be a very close fight, and it could go either way next week, which is what we wanted at the end of the day. And that will mean Top Tom will need to push harder, so will somebody. It's just anyone's game as well, and I'm very excited to see how this all is going to unfold as well. Yonti's playing it safe, so is Jesper, but we got Beaker right on the back of Copy. I think Beaker could get him, but he's on Warner tyres, so it could be anyone's game as we just passed the Sochi also drain, where it's hosted the 2014 Olympics, and we're by the Black Sea, believe it or not, as well, so that's probably why the temperatures are quite cool at the moment, but it will probably start to warm up soon, but we'll see anyway. But Beaker's lining up for me. Mateo's actually lining up for me on some idiot. He gets him. So Mateo is now your net race leader. Obviously, Chenjay's your leader on track, but Mateo's your race leader. He just looked more comfortable than some idiot there. I don't know what happened, but Mateo is he's just doing amazingly well. Just carrying on where he left off before he went into the pits.
But this is now where Smitty is actually at his best. When he's behind somebody, having to manage his ERS, manage his fuel, and just keep staying in the toe of the driver ahead, this is fine. This is, I know initially you look at this and think, Smitty's dropping pace, he doesn't look comfortable, how's he going to attack this, blah, 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 blah. He doesn't have to. He doesn't need to go for any overtakes. He just has to sit tight, stay close to the back of Mateo, just make sure that this time Mateo doesn't pull a 1 second gap. And that's it. Everything will be plain sailing from there. Beaker and Copy swapping places. Beaker looked like he went a bit too deep in towards turn 2 and actually sent himself into the runoff area and a little bit further than that. The one worry that somebody should really keep in mind is that Top Tom is literally glued to his backside. If there is a mistake made from the Racing Point driver, suddenly Top Tom could just slide on through, take that position away from him. And if if Smitty doesn't recover quick enough, then he could really drop out suddenly, being even in for P2 position, which is looking all very much his right now. And considering the championship fight between him and Top Tom, you cannot afford to lose anything. And actually, Top Tom smells blood. He's already got his overtake button fully utilized. Smitty has run out of all of the ERS and a little bit of a look down the inside. No mistakes made, but a little bit of a scare there from Smitty. Goes a little bit deep, but he does keep the car under control. And actually, now Smitty realizes the pressure is totally on, and Mateo is now going to need to start feeling the wrath of Smitty soon, because if he doesn't close in and start forcing Mateo to make mistakes, there is a real risk here that Top Tom will pass Smitty and we'll be losing a P2 there for Smitty.
Yeah, and more importantly, Top will extend his championship lead a little bit, which is not what somebody wanted going into this championship finale next week. As it stands, the championship fight will be going to Brazil anyway, but it's just if somebody can hold his nerve and handle the pressure when it counts, because not only he's trying to chase Matteo, he's also trying to chase Top as well. And look, some idiot, he just went off ever so slightly, but Top just can't get past as well. So, you know, Top must be probably feeling the pressure, but less pressure than somebody, because if he stays P4, no P3 and net P3, he won't be too bothered. He'll still be in the lead of the championship. He'll still be in advantage going into the finale. It's only if he overtakes some idiot will probably be at a disadvantage. So no matter where you look at things, if Top could just keep with some idiot's nose or even overtake him, no matter where he finishes in that regard, he should be fine, as long as he doesn't have a bottle or anything like that which causes him to fall him down the order, which, touch wood, I hope that does not happen. But he's going, I think somebody was almost going for it going into turn 13, but it doesn't look like it. And no, he's not. So somebody stays P2, Matteo and net P1. This could go either way, like we said. The medium's lasting a bit longer than the soft, so I wonder if they're just going to hang in there for as long as they can. And like I said, they will all need to stop one more time. There's no way those mediums can get to the end unless someone will want to go for one stop. I wonder if some people will just go for the gamble, but I don't know how long the mediums will last. I'll double check on that, but we'll see what Chenja does as well. I think Chenja's the benchmark, I think, for everybody. However long Chenja can last on those mediums, that's probably how everybody else can last on those mediums.
Yeah, absolutely. For those of you in the chat wondering, so our alert system at the top is based on car number. Now, Smidia and Fossetti both have the same car number, I believe. Let me just go double check.
Oh, naughty,
because if he does, yeah, they both have exactly the same car number, as you can see. So, whenever Fossetti gets a penalty, the bar at the top will show Smidia getting a penalty. But I can assure you, Smidia does not have a penalty at the moment.
He doesn't have a black and white flag to his name. So if you don't have a black and white flag next to your name, then that means they don't have any penalties. So that goes for Matteo, Samidia, Tom, Yonti, Jesper, and Copy. Everybody else has got at least one penalty. That is Chenja, Beaker, Tristan, Assassin, and Falsetti.
Exactly. I mean, Falsetti's got a fair few to his name, that's for sure. But, you know what, fair play to him. He's been giving it a really good scrap, and he had a right good go at Assassin as well. He's now just getting through the remainder of these laps. We're almost at the halfway mark. I think 26 and a half laps in is the halfway mark. And we are getting to the point where Chenja's tyres are going to start to drop, and he's going to need to think about boxing, switching off those tyres and going on to something else. Probably medium soft, I reckon he's probably going to do. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, we can still see the net P1 fight that goes down to Jesper, which is down to P5, is still raging on and probably will be for quite a while. Because there's nobody showing any signs of fail. Oh, never mind. Scratch that out. Samidia has actually fallen back. He's now outside that 1 second margin. It looks like Matteo's decided, I'm going to push away now and break that 1 second margin, which is exactly what he's doing. And Samidia's been caught napping. He hasn't got the ERS to sort of retaliate for this. The call from the race engineering team within AlphaTauri has actually been perfectly timed. As long as Matteo doesn't make a mistake, he can actually pull away and keep this 1 second margin, which will cause a real problem for Samidia with Tom right on the back of him.
And I think one thing I just noticed as well around this track is starting to brighten up even more. It's not just a little bit of sun. I think more sun is starting to peek out as well. So maybe that's why somebody is struggling. Maybe somebody is more confident in the overcast conditions, and that's why he's dropping it back from Matteo, and Tom is gaining on him as well. So to be honest, I think somebody thrives when it's wet and thrives when it's overcast. But when it's sunny, he can have good races, but he struggles, I think, more than the overcast conditions, I think. So a shame for somebody. He's going to probably hope that it stays as it is now, because he should be fine if that's the case. But you never know with Russia. Russia could just change the weather at a drop of a hat, as Matteo sets the fastest lap of the race right now. He's 1.4 seconds behind, clear of Samidia. Tom's going to go for the move. somebody will have to go defensive there, and looks like somebody did not challenge Top Tom at all there. So I wonder if he just wants DRS going into this corner. He's still on the back of Top Tom, so he could get him into turn 4. Passing turn 3 now. Is he going to go for the send? He does not. And Matteo's just flying away, and Top Tom is now up into P2, and that's another nail on the coffin for Samida, unfortunately. That's going to extend the championship gap in Top Tom's favour even more now.
Yep, I mean, I don't want to say I told you so, but I kind of saw that one coming down before it happened. Yeah, I mean, Samida, again, not out of this, but the pace is the problem. Yonti, that's big. That a 3-second time penalty. He is the only person in the top 6 to get one. Tristan's got one as well, adding to an already existing penalty. But yeah, this is the concern now that Yonti has, is once you get one, you're going to get more than one. Yonti also falling outside that 1 second margin on Samida means that he has to dump the remainder of his ERS battery if he wants to have a chance at attacking again later, or even thinking about getting a position. Dave getting one more penalty. I know it'll say Samida. I promise you it's not Samida, it's Dave. Nobody panic.
Yeah, they should have had different numbers. Hint, hint, Falsetti.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should
An oversight, I think, from his part.
Yeah, I think...
Chenje's in.
Chenje's in, so 26 laps on the medium, and now he's going to go on to the soft tyres, which could technically last a distance, but the optimum pace is probably around about 22 laps anyway, so he may need to stop one more time. There could be a late safety car, so we'll see how Chenje deals with this, because he's not that far behind Copy either. He won't be that long before he catches up to Beaker, so this could be very, very good for him. He's on the penalty at the moment, but don't forget he started quite low down, so for him, even though he kind of wanted a win, he won last week, but he's usually around about this ballpark and on the grid. He's doing pretty well so far, I would say.
Yeah, without a doubt. This is, though, looking very good for Top Tom, to be honest. He definitely won't secure the championship if he finishes where he is right now. Oh, yellow flag sector 2. Is that Beaker? It looks to be.
VSC.
Or Beaker has 0 front wing. VSC has been called yet.
I can't tell because of the boards. We have no graphic. I just have the map, and I just had to look at the board. So yeah, it is a VSC. So Beaker will have to go into the pits.
Yeah, serious wing damage on that Alfa Romeo. He hasn't got a wing. That's how damaged it is. So limp mode all the way home. Drive-through penalty for Tristan for speeding under the virtual safety car.
Ooh. That is huge for Tristan, because he was technically going to fight with Assassin, but now he's going to drop into the back of the grid. Meanwhile, Chenje has got past Beaker due to Beaker limping home into the pit. So that's advantage Chenje, and he's 2.3 seconds behind Copy now, so we could get P6 out of all of this. I know Copy doesn't have any penalties, but this could be big news as well. Unfortunately, he's not within that train, which is sad, but at least he's going to have some sort of fight anyway and score some decent points. He's going to have maybe 2 top 6 finishes, 1 win last week, a top 6 this week if he keeps this up, of course, and you know, maybe he'll be peeing a similar time to the rest of the guys anyway if everyone's doing a 2-stop. You never know, but Chenje's just keeping his cool right now. I don't know if he's got any more penalties, but, you know, he's just got to fight as if he doesn't have any penalties. That's my opinion.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's one of the key factors to recovering from a penalty is to continue as if you haven't got one and then just see what happens, because you never know. The driver in front of you could get a penalty and you could be all on there for a nice, juicy little Royal Rumble later. However, Matteo, race leader, 1.3 ahead of Top Tom, who did gain a fair bit on that lap. He's actually closed in the 10th and a bit, and it looks like he might be doing even more so. Sumidit relying on Top Tom to pull him forward, and he's also recharged that battery even better as a result. So I don't know, maybe he just can't handle being stuck behind Matteo, or Matteo is just that much better at just deciding, okay, go time, and then pulling out a really substantial gap. Then you got Yonti, who's got the penalty there in P4, so he has to do what we just talked about, drive as if he doesn't have a penalty and just see if he can recover anything later on in this race. And then Jesper, who is P5, will gain on his teammate currently, and does have to think about later on how does this pan out.
Somebody almost went for the move there and he gave me a heart attack, but I think Top Tom was caught napping and he responded once again. So Top Tom good defence from him, but somebody definitely gave Top Tom a wake-up call there.
And you also got Beaker and Assassin having a bit of a kerfuffle, shall we call it, down there for P8 currently. Will we see any more than that? Well, don't think so. Not yet. Maybe on the home straight. We've got a fair old run down towards turn 1. This could be a bit of a squabble between the two. Obviously, Assassin is on the harder compound. He's on mediums and obviously has more laps in on them. Beaker will have that extra grip and the DRS and the ERS. It should be an easy peasy overtake. There it is. No fight at all from Assassin. And a good run from Beaker.
Yeah, even the damage may not have hurt him too much on those soft tyres. And again, he's on the same strategy as Chenjay, so no hard feelings there as Tristan goes into the pit as well. Also on the soft compound tyres as well. I don't think the battle for the lead is going to change too much. I think the most crucial part is who's going to get P2 more than anything. And it's down to the championship contenders as well. So Top Tom and Samidia have both got the blue spanner on the right-hand side of their dashboard. So it may mean they'll be pitting soon. I don't know. Or they may just be having a jet warning and they're probably ignoring it. But somebody just went for the move once again, but again, he wasn't close enough, I don't think, to go for it. So he is pushing, but not pushing as much as what Top Tom is at the moment. But again, Top Tom, I don't think is going to worry about Matteo at this point now. Matteo's just miles ahead.
Yeah, Matteo doing a very good job right now. 1.7 seconds, just carrying on, cruising the way he has been. It's good to see. It's good to see. He just needs to maintain this, though. A single penalty, and suddenly he's in big doo-doo. So he's got to watch out for that. Can't afford to be getting any unnecessary ones. Top Tom, 1.7, obviously behind Matteo as a result. Samidia hanging in there, recharging that battery a little bit. He's having to burn a little bit more each lap than he necessarily wants to. Yonti has managed to sort of stabilize his gap drop to 1.7, but it is just falling, as I say that, to 1.9. Jesper looking like he might actually go for a bit of a cheeky one on his teammate here.
I wonder if Good to Steiner is getting very, very tensed up in the pit box at the moment. He must be very, very worried about his teammates because in real life, of course, Haas not doing very well in the championship, currently dead last and not doing very well in qualifying either. Their car looks like a dead heap anyway in real life. But in RNL, of course, they're faring a lot better. Jesper getting some good performances this season. Yonti seems to be loving this track. But I wonder if Jesper's going to probably hold back a little bit knowing that Yonti's got a penalty, which he is. But I think Jesper's a lot faster than Yonti, I think, oh, yeah, Jesper having a little bit of a tank slapper there into turn 2. But he recovered it. He didn't get any damage.
Yeah, he did. Very good recovery from him. That could have been seriously bad for him. And actually, again, the situation for the top 3 doesn't seem to be changing anytime soon. I think he's just trying to keep himself alive. Apparently, Smidiot's throttle is sticking activated sometimes in the braking zones.
Ooh.
Which isn't ideal. You do not want that happening when you are trying to race. I'm just keeping an eye on his telemetry, actually, see if I can spot it myself. Because the telemetry on here is actually pretty accurate. It does tell us that input quite nicely. It did look okay in those final ones. So a little bit of a blip there. He may have just touched it on his own. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm looking at the telemetry on the right-hand side. It's hard to tell, to be honest, but, you know, it may look normal to us, but it may not be normal to him. But let's hope he doesn't hinder him for the rest of this race. I hope that doesn't signal problems for some idiot. I hope he just can carry on and probably forget about the problem and
virtual safety car
Beaker
again.
Beaker,
another broken wing. He's complete.
Beaker's caused another safety VSC. It's definitely Beaker this time, but that is given Jesper and Copy, huge advantage. They're in the pits. They took advantage of the VSC. The VSC's still out. Jesper's going on the soft. That's going to be their final stop. This could be game-changing right now for Jesper and Copy. So Copy comes out as well. I think Jesper's going to have more of an advantage too as well. But yeah, he comes out. He loses so much less time compared to obviously everybody else that will probably be pitting under normal conditions. So everyone else is going to hope there's a VSC or a safety car when they pit, because otherwise they're going to be in a lot of trouble. But yeah, the VSC's lasting a bit longer, but again...
Oh, Beaker.
Beaker's out of the race.
Beaker. Yeah, he's retired. He's done. Okay, so we are back racing once more. And like you say, Jesper and Copy both went in for their pit stops. They have managed to recover. I think Jesper's going to be the one who gains the most by far, because obviously he's got something to gain. He was close to the back of Yonti, who was only 1.7, 1.8 away from Sumidi ahead of him. So there is a possibility here that Jesper may have gained so much, in fact, that he could be in with a chance to gain himself a nice cheeky podium. We'll have to watch as the others pit soon. They may take these mediums to the very end, but I don't know. I doubt that. No, they could. I think they can.
I'm gonna have a look, but if there's a safety car, I wonder if they'll go on softs. Yonti comes in then, so it looks like every time a half pits, the other half pits. But Yonti's going to lose more time to Jesper, so Jesper's going to be miles ahead. So Yonti going on the soft tyres, and mediums can last 44 laps according to my data. So yeah, it could go to the end very comfortably actually. So I thought it was going to be a 2-stop. It could be a 1-stop, as yeah, Yonti and Jesper were closing up before the VSC. Now Yonti's 5.3 seconds behind Jesper. So yeah, Yonti lost 5 seconds more than what Jesper did.
Which is good for Jesper, but again, that's if those three at the front do end up pitting. They may not pit.
I don't think they will.
Benefit? I don't know how much they benefit from it. I think the save from Jesper, it's just whether or not Chenjay can do anything about this. I mean, he's going to be pretty worn on those softs toward the end of the race. But I think the mediums are going to be in a worse position than the softs will be. I really don't know how this one's going to play out.
This is what I like about league racing around Russia. It's open to different strategies, and that's why I like commentating on Russia. People are going to think, why do you like Russia? I just do, okay? Russia is a very good track. I don't like it to race, but I like commentating it. But it's more overtakes than Spain, I have to say. So if people hate Russia to watch, they could just go in the bin. So, but yeah, it's a good track. It's a good track, I have to say. But I can understand why people hate it to drive, because I hate driving it. As Tristan gets past Falsetti. Not a common overtaking spot, actually. They're going for it. Tristan has the warning light as well. Falsetti did try to go defensive into turn 8, but couldn't quite do it. So Tristan is now up into 9th, and he's on the softs anyway. So it didn't look like Falsetti challenged him much. But now Beaker's retired, everyone that's in this race can now score points.
Beaker getting outscored by Falsetti. He did say to me, Falsetti, he just wants to beat Beaker. Well, he's done that. No matter what happens, he's done that. So very well done to Dave. Staying true to the race, kept himself all the way through. Yeah, it's paid off. It's worked out for him. Sumidi, though, is in a bit of a predicament now, because he needs to get Top Tom done and dusted by the end of this race. I think all attention from Sumidi has changed away from Matteo. Yes, that would be cool if he could, but he needs to really get through on him and just try and make sure he fights Top Tom, because next race is going to be the decider. That's going to be where we find out who's going to get the position on it.
Top Tom's in. Top Tom's in the pits.
Oh, this is big for Jesper then. This is big for Jesper. If he... And he's got a penalty. He's got a speeding in the pit lane penalty. Top Tom has shot himself in the foot so hard here. Sumidi will gain so much as a result of this. This is enormous for the championship. I think
it's massive. It could be some advantage. Top Tom, I think, could still lead the championship, but I think somebody could make the gap even closer, and that means it will be anyone's game. Shame for Top Tom. The 5 seconds will be added to him at the end of the race, which could be an advantage. Both Hasses gained on Top Tom. There we go.
Yep, both of them. That just shows what can happen. I mean, yes, he's on soft tires. We saw what happened last week when he was in Bahrain. He managed to bring himself a huge lap time gain. A copy. That's uncharacteristic from him, getting himself a penalty. He usually is the driver to never get a penalty, but he has one today.
It is Russia after all.
That is true. That is true. I'm curious to see what the top two do now then. Are they going to box? Are they going to get off those mediums and go into softs? If they do, I reckon Jesper might even be on race lead.
No, Chenjay, because the soft could last 30 laps, so...
Yeah, I guess.
So Chenjay could be winning this race, but Jesper, I think, would have the advantage if Chenjay's tires. Somebody is in. So I wonder if Matteo's going to go in next lap then. I think he's got to, really, realistically, even though the tyres could go the distance. But we do know that...
They are.
What would you do if you were Matteo's race engineer? What would you do? Again, I don't know. But
well, let's check his tyre wear.
Yeah, Jesper is going to be comfortably ahead. Jesper's miles ahead. Let's come to Yonti. We got Top Tom as well.
So he's had 26% tyre wear done, as in he's burnt 26% of his tyres in 15 laps. So give it another 15.
Him, I would stay out then.
I think he's fine. He goes to the end here. It's just again the pace. Where does Chenjay fit in all this? Because again, he's going to be loving it, but he's going to be in a bit of a predicament in himself. Somebody obviously has boxed and has come out behind Top Tom. And now he's also outside the 1 second margin on him as well, mainly because Top Tom has gone, oops, I got a 5 second penalty. I better get gone. Somebody also in a similar sort of position. He's also got a yellow fuel warning light as well, so he cannot afford to really push too hard. He has to recharge his fuel. Yonti with another big time penalty. That's 6 seconds in total. His teammate Jesper, though, he's on for a podium.
He's got no penalties as well. I'll check his warnings, actually, whilst I'm here. So, Matteo has got 3 warnings.
Oh, Top Tom is going for a send, sorry, on Yonti. Bit deep into the corner. Very nearly had contact between the two of them. They are keeping it clean, though. A bit of a wobble there from Yonti. The sun is shining. The track will start to warm up a little bit. And that will make a difference for these drivers. Keep an eye out on Yonti's pace, because he does seem to be dropping. Somebody is just on the edge of that 1 second margin. Where is the detection line? I think it is... Where is it? Because the green line is there. Well, he has got DRS. We know that.
It's just before. It's just before the start. The start finish straight.
Matteo has a penalty now.
Yeah, he got 3 warnings, I believe. So he's got a penalty.
3 times. Oh dear.
That is going to cost him the victory for sure, or even P2. But Jesper is on. Let me have a look. Jesper's on 1 warning. How is he doing this? That's crazy. He's not human. I just don't see how he's... Go on. He's not human. Matteo's got another one.
Another warning?
Wait. Let me have a look. It might just be my gain catching up from the race director, but let me just check penalties. Nope. It's just my gain catching up. Okay.
Yeah. Panicked then for a second. So Matteo getting a 3 second time penalty will be a problem. I think, was it Chenjay's got? Let me just check.
Chenjay's got 3 as well.
Yep. So they are going to be fighting for physical position. Although I think it will be favoured towards Chenjay because of the tyre grip. Jesper is a bit too far back, I think, to be able to gain anything on the other 2.
But that doesn't matter.
Unless they keep scrapping and he could then close in.
Yes, because anything can happen in Formula 1, and it literally does. And maybe anyone can make a mistake around it. It's just human as well. And with Jesper not getting any warnings, we could see more people get penalties, because obviously the more penalties you get, the harder it is to keep it penalty free, I've got to say. Somebody, the only other driver to not get one, which I did say before we started the race, somebody is not going to get a penalty. And I was right on that fact. And that could potentially put him up in, I would say, P4 or P3.
Yep. It's currently he'll get P4 as it sits. But, you know, again, it's dependent on what those in the top 2 do. Are they going to box one more time? Is Mateo going to box at all? Because he doesn't have to. But if he loses position to Chenje, which is coming in hot here, Mateo could actually decide, oh, well, I may as well box. I've got no answer to this. Do I just box and then see what happens later? But if he boxes, he's going to come out P6.
Yeah, I think that's the danger of him staying out longer. So if I was him, I would stay out. You've everyone else has jumped the gun before you. You just got to take the consequences, really. If you don't stay out, you lost your chance of podium. So Mateo is got the tyres can last the distance anyway, so that's not a major issue. But yeah, as Chenje gets past, I don't think Mateo thought that too much. So Chenje's on the fresher tyres. Mateo was like, you know what, you have this one, you go for the win.
Well, Dave with another 3-second time penalty. Let's see, what's he on now? Is he on 12? 15. He's on 15.
Jesus, Falsetti.
He's trying to take over Luca's role of getting penalties. When Luca was doing the races, he got loads back in the day. All right. Mateo falls to P2. That we know as much. Jesper is not able to gain any time on the top two, even though he is on fresher softs. TomTom, P4 right now, is closing in a little bit on Jesper each lap. Just needs to watch out, though, because he has a massive 5-second penalty that will affect him later on. Yonti keeps dabbing into that DRS range on TomTom and just losing it out and then back into it again. He needs to really focus on keeping in that as much as he can. And Smidic needs to hurry up and get past Yonti before TomTom can pull a 5-second gap. It's going to be hard to pull a 5-second gap, but you can never say never.
Yeah, never say never for somebody. When he wants to go for a move, he can send it like no tomorrow, and it's probably one of the best moves as well. But I can tell he's pushing. The yellow warning light is coming on and off and on and off. So he's been trying to balance his fuel so much and finding ways where he could save fuel, but it's very, very difficult. So, whereas Yonti, he's on the same position. TomTom, he's managing his fuel all right. He doesn't even have the yellow warning light, and he's the one with the penalty. So, I wonder if TomTom is keeping it conservative, because I think the more people push, the more people start to be prone to making mistakes. So, I think with TomTom the way he is right now, it could work well on track. Obviously, he'll drop down quite a bit due to pens, but at the end of the day, he wants to battle, and he's at a huge advantage on the fuel front. But in terms of ERS, he's at a disadvantage. He's on about 8%. Fionti's on 12, and Summit is on 16%. So they're starting to drain their batteries. Mateo's on 11, and Chenje is on 25. Copy's on 59. So Copy is doing the best of the ERS management right now, but he's currently sitting down in P7 now.
Righty, we are getting to the closing stages of this race. 13 laps to go. 14 if you include the remainder of this one that they're on, but they are near the end of that. This is such an interesting scenario, to be honest. I have no idea how this one's going to pan out. It could be one of the most dramatic races we've seen in a very long time. And I mean, Bahrain was already dramatic in itself. But then you got this one where, Chenje's looking really good. He's got that penalty, but it's not really going to affect him because Mateo's also got a penalty. Jesper has actually started to close in quite nicely now. He's gained a couple of seconds since the last time we looked at his delta. TomTom has gained only a little bit. He's only gained a couple of tenths on Jesper. Yonti's back into the DRS range of TomTom and actually pretty comfortably. Samidia in this train as well. The only people who are kind of doing their own little thing on the run little island are the bottom four. Copy, Assassin, Tristan, and Fossetti. All just driving, doing laps, trying to find out what they can. But actually, a bit of an attack there from Yonti. He's feeling a little bit racy all of a sudden. He's even going for it around the outside of turn 4. Yonti getting into the punching gloves, ready to get boxing, and he's trying to stick it around the outside. He cannot. Might go for a switchback of dreams through here. This should allow some idiots to get right back on him. The scrap between them was pretty good, but Yonti's burnt so much ERS. He's done the same problem to TomTom. You know what I think's happened? I reckon Yonti has said, Jesper, I will save you. I will be your knight in shining armor. I will fight TomTom and make him lose time. You just carry on doing your thing. This podium is yours, baby.
I think that's what Haas team are doing. I think that's what the engineers are saying to the team as well. And I I think Yonti's playing the wingman today as well, which I think is not what he wanted, but I know he likes to play the team game anyway, so he's going to do all he can to make sure that these guys are chasing down Jesper, stay behind Jesper. So if Yonti has anything to do with it, then that's ideally a good thing. Jesper's already gaining a bit of time. Yonti's so late on the brakes, that could gain advantage some idiot, but I'm just looking at the positions game right now. Chenje up 11 positions. Like,
yeah, he's a machine.
He is, and he's a man that we thought that his tyres wouldn't make it to the end last week in Bahrain on the mediums. I'm a bit unsure now.
They almost didn't.
I'm a bit unsure now, but anything can happen. Here comes Yonti going around the tricky part of the trap, but looks like Top Top's going to go for the cut back there. Bit of a tank tapper for Yonti once again. Heading towards turn 3. Yonti still has, well, he has P4 from Top Tom. And Yonti is doing superb right now. He's even closing up to Jesper at the moment. But I think they're just going to keep swapping positions. I think Yonti may let Top Tom in the next lap, but then Yonti would push even harder the following lap. It's just going to be a vicious circle. But Yonti, this is the Yonti I wanted to see all season. I do not know why we're only seeing it here and not the other races. But I'm glad we're seeing this.
Well, also, where was this earlier in the race? I mean, he was fast, don't get me wrong, but he played the passive game just a bit too long, I think. And it backfired a little bit. He did get himself 2 penalties. And actually, look at Top Tom. He's getting so much overspeed. He's not going to go for the send. But a bit of a mistake there from Yonti has allowed Top Tom to get through around the outside of him as well. And that is an easy piece of lemon squeezy move. And actually, Sumiti's going to try and do the same thing as well, but he cannot get through. He has to sit back and just play patient. He has the ERS, but I think Sumiti has been a bit patient, mainly because he needs to look after that fuel. He keeps getting that yellow fuel warning light, and that will make a massive difference when it comes to the later stage of this race. If he can get himself to a nice plus point, if he can gain a little bit of fuel and recover just a tiny bit, he should actually be able to attack later. And that's what I think what's happening here, because look at again Yonti. He is doing everything to try and ruin Top Tom's laps as much as he can. And look at how much it's benefited Jesper. Not only is Jesper closing in on the top 2, he's also pulling away from this fight that constantly keeps happening. A whole second and a bit between Yonti and Jesper has been gained since the last time we checked the gap. This is fantastic. Jesper looking solid for a podium. Maybe a little bit more than that.
Well, the gap before between Yonti and Jesper was about 4.1. Now it's 5.2. So Jesper, because of Yonti and Top Tom having a bit of a squabble with some idiot as well, this is allowing Jesper to be comfortable up there with a podium. And that is insane from Jesper. I think this is a Haas masterclass right there. It's going to benefit both drivers. And with Top Tom getting a 5-second penalty, it's just going to benefit may benefit some idiot as well, because Top Tom will just drop down even more. But looks like Top Tom's going to go for the move once again, which he does not. I wonder if Top Tom's going to go for the move turn 1 now. He's got to, because otherwise they're going to lose so much more time. The gap now, Yonti and Jesper, 5.2. 5.3 is increasing. The gap now between Jesper and Matteo, 9.9. So it may be that the softs are now faster than Matteo's warm mediums. Oh my goodness, I can't call it at the moment, but Chenje's doing very well up in front, managing the gap quite nicely. We've got 10 laps to go at this race. Who's your money on, chat? Could Chenje win? And more importantly, could Jesper get that podium? Top Tom gets the lunge on Yonti. No challenge for Yonti there, but I wonder if Yonti's going to have a go next lap.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I mean, Yonti is also burning fuel. I think Yonti is at a point where he's sacrificing the entirety of his race. I think he needs to be a bit smarter than this, though, because, yes, Jesper will finish on the podium, and that will be big points for him. But Yonti needs to still finish this race. If he doesn't, he's going to be dropping a P5 position, well, P6 position here. That could be disastrous for him. He doesn't want to drop that P6. So, yeah, keep that. Get your P2 for your teammate, which is looking like it could happen now. He's done enough, I think, to hold Top Tom back and slow him down just a little bit more. Cody's in-game name is some idiot. He's P6.
Yes, indeed. And he's still in a championship fight as it stands for next week in Brazil, I believe. Am I right?
Yep. That's right, yep.
Good. Because I can't do maths.
So Smitty at P6 will jump both Yonti and TopTom due to the penalties that they both have. And Smitty currently having 0. In terms of the Drivers' Championship, like Jess just said, TopTom is your leader, but he's only slightly ahead. Smitty will close that gap as it sits because of the penalties that TopTom has. And that gap gets much closer than it has been before. It's already, 8 points, I think, 7 points between them. It's really close already. By Smitty being a little bit faster, getting a little bit more points, should mean he'll be able to attack later. Smitty goes through the inside of Yonti. Bit of a lock up there as well. Not helped him. Bit of touch from Yonti into the back of Assassin. Sorry, not Assassin, into the back of Smitty. And luckily, no damage for either driver. And actually, Smitty's going for a move on TopTom as well. TopTom's going to be stuck here. Around the inside. Right there through. Good job, Smitty. He's physically P4. And that was what we wanted to see. A little bit of fight from Smitty. But now the question is, what has he got left? Does he have enough fuel? Has he built up the fuel and the ERS enough for him to be able to close in on Jesper? Because it's still only 5.4. The pace is pretty good. This is what we like to see from Smitty, but now he needs to do what Matteo did to him earlier. He needs to build the gap very quickly. He cannot afford to be caught up in this scrap that's going on between TopTom and Yonti. And Yonti knows that he can't let TopTom run away with this. And now TopTom has DRS to Smitty. Yonti is in real trouble. Not only is he struggling for fuel, he's also struggling for ERS. And the DRS is obviously going to help him only so much that he can't really rely on his... Well, on him... Sorry, Jesper can't rely on Yonti to hold him back anymore.
Yeah, I think some idiot... I think he just wants to be ahead on track, even though TopTom and Yonti has got the penalty, so he can start closing the gap to Jesper, because the win and the podium is still in sight, because obviously everyone else around him has got penalties apart from the Haas drivers, so it will be technically fighting an on-track position, but Jesper is just looking so good on pace, I just don't know at the moment.
Well, the other thing to think about is Jesper only has to get within 3 seconds of Matteo for him to be able to jump Matteo. Right, currently he only has to gain 5.2 seconds and that's it. Job done. But he also has to do that while not getting any penalties of his own. Because if he gets 1, he's in trouble. If he gets 2, he loses to Smitty and Smitty gets a podium again. This is, a real worry for Jesper. But at the same time, he cannot focus on that. He has to just maintain everything he's done so far. He only had 1 warning the last time you checked on him. I imagine he's probably not got any more since.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think Matteo's learning from his mistakes potentially and just wants to keep it clean. Yonti, Tristan and Assassin and Volsetti the only ones out of the rest of the grid to get more than 3 second penalties, so they need to be more cautious than anybody else. But TopTom is championship is on the line. He wants to make sure the gap is high as possible going into next week's race, but I don't think that's going to happen. I know he's still going to be leading anyway, but at least he's having a nice battle over TopTom and Yonti. He's going to be P6 anyway, because obviously the gap between the rest of the field is too big, so he's not going to lose out too much, but I'm sure he wants to gain more points than lose. We don't have long to go at the end of the race, and I didn't think Chenjo would actually win the race. Imagine what Vexit could have done if he didn't have an issue earlier. I think he could have been up there with Chenjo.
Well, Matteo's tyres are on 56% right now, so his pace is dropping significantly. He will be at a real risk of Jesper getting him later. Jesper is 69% real life, so he's actually all right. He's still got enough to get himself to the end of the race pretty comfortably. Not really going to be a problem for him at all. When it comes down to Sumitius tyres, for example, he's loving life. 75% is his lowest tyre, and he doesn't have to worry about anything. 70% for TopTom. Bear that in mind. 75 for Sumitius, 70 for TopTom. And the TopTom's done only 1 lap more than Sumitius. So that 5% is tremendous when it comes to the difference. And let's have a look at Yonti, actually. He's on 69%, but he did box a couple of laps earlier than TopTom. So it's kind of expected his would be bad, but not as bad as you would expect.
What's Chenjo's?
I can't see 100%, fortunately. He hasn't got the
what about Jesper? Because Jesper pitted quite early on compared to Yonti, I think. Am I right?
68%.
Not
so
too
if
bad.
Chenjo, if we use Jesper as a... Well, actually, let's use Tristan as a benchmark, because he's the closest. So 60% rear left is the lowest that Tristan has currently. So if you imagine that, put a couple more percentages on there, we're talking sort of 54-ish.
Oh, there's a move for Top Tom on some idiot going round turn 2. Top Tom has some idiot there. Somebody was caught napping. Sorry to interrupt you there, but there was a battle that could not be missed there. But yeah, Top Tom wants to gain his position on track, but it's going to be even harder to increase the gap in order to be 5 seconds clear of everybody else. But looks like somebody's going to go for it again, which he does not. And all this again is allowing Jesper just to increase the gap clearance of them, and that's not what they want. But the Top Tom, that's Dubsky right there. So well done for that.
Continuing on in this race, lap 48 of 53. It is really huge question marks everywhere. Top Tom ran really deep through there. And actually, don't do this to me, some idiot. Don't do this to me, some idiot. Yellow flag sector 1. Who's that? There's somebody in the pits. That might be Tristan.
Tristan,
going
yeah.
through. We're fighting. Some idiot is trying to get around the outside of him. And actually, Top Tom's still wheel to wheel with him. But I think this might still benefit.
Spun. I think. Yeah,
Where
he spun.
Is that behind them?
Just behind him. I think he's a lap down, so yeah.
Yeah. Ghosting is off, so that could have been a problem, but no, we're all right. Nobody's dead. Everybody's fine. Some idiot is still on the back of Top Tom, but he has the RS. Top Tom has about the sim, so there's no real reason for some idiot to go for a pass here. Although I am seeing the yellow spanner, red spanner. Sorry, I don't know why. He doesn't need to box again.
Oh, look, Chenjay has got the red spanner, and he's been on 21 laps of soft, so I wonder why some idiot has got the red spanner. Jeff is an idiot.
Jeff is not quite with it, is he?
No.
Red spanner means teammate is in the pits.
Oh,
okay.
right, okay. Oh, yeah, Fossetti.
And why does Chenjay have it? Or why? No, Chenjay doesn't have it.
Yeah, Chenjay does not have it. Yeah. We don't play the game as much as everybody else. That's our excuse.
I did not know that.
I did not know that either.
I did not know that.
Blue spanner is the pit window or about to open, and the red spanner, I believe, is obviously teammate in the pits. So
you learn something new every day. I've only been playing the F1 games for the last 3 years, and only now have I learned that.
Yeah, so did I about the teammate in the pits thing. Meanwhile, Tristan Assassin goes into the pit lane on soft, so I'm guessing he's going the fastest lap. Well, you can gain a point for that because you're inside the top 10. So why not go for it? Tristan will probably do the same. So I think it's going to be game on between Assassin, Tristan and Falsey for fastest lap.
Yeah, this is now where the time trial merchants come out.
Yeah.
Also want to point out, Jesper is 5.8 away from Matteo. In order for him to gain enough time to jump Matteo, he would need to gain around about a second per lap to be able to jump Matteo. Meanwhile, this battle for P4 is still going on physically. Obviously, we know Top Tom will lose out to some idiot regardless. That is not going to change anytime soon. However, I'm curious to see if Top Tom gets one more penalty, and I have seen him running off wide quite a few times, Yonti will actually jump him because he has a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and Yonti only has, he has 6 seconds. But that would be an 8-second penalty then that Top Tom would have if he gets one more 3-second penalty. Or one 3-second penalty.
It could happen, people getting penalties at the last minute. I had a few issues where it's happened to me in some races where I just get penalties at the last second and just cough my race. But, you know, you got to live and learn, really. You can't really do that. So these last few laps got to be tense, and it's going to be tense for some idiot as he's almost went for the lunge there, but does somebody really need to go for that lunge, really? Because as long as Yonti and Top Tom stay within close proximity, somebody is going to get both of them anyway.
Yes, but if some idiot can force Top Tom to get another penalty, he knows that's another position that Top Tom loses, and that's less points for Top Tom to gain in the championship, making it that little bit easier for Brazil for him to close out the championship and get the drivers' champs, which is huge. He's never had a drivers' championship in RNL. He's had 2 constructors.
Oh, he doesn't go for the move. Oh.
No. He's wussed out a little bit. I mean, he's got plenty of time. You know, if he wants to go for it, I mean, he's probably just going to hold tight for now. Probably start getting aggressive next lap when he's got that little bit extra he can fight with. But he is doing a little bit better when it comes to ERS in comparison to Top Tom. Just needs to carry on doing what he's doing. Fossetti with the fastest lap, which is good for the Racing Point team. Not necessarily going to need it. They've already secured the constructors. But Dave wants it for his own personal pride, you know.
He wants to rub it in his face that he's beaten Beaker.
Fossetti. Fossetti, get in there, mate. Get in there, Lewis.
Get in there, Dave. Meanwhile, Copy's in the pits.
Somebody's going for it. Somebody's closing in on Top Tom. He's going alongside of him, coming in towards the chicane. He should be through by the time we get to it. And yes, he is. So Top Tom needs to be careful now then that he doesn't make any little boo-boos, run out a little bit wide and get himself a 3-second time penalty, because that would put his race in the bin. His championship would become that little bit harder. See, the thing is, I love both of these guys. I wouldn't want any other two people to get... Well, I don't know, I'll tell a lie. There is a couple of other people I'd want to get as well, but I'm really glad these two are fighting for the Drivers' Championship, because this is... It's playing with my heartstrings. I win and lose at the same time, no matter which one gets it.
I'm the same, to be honest, because I like both of these drivers as well. As you can see people going for the move. Here comes Top Tom. This is do or die moment for him. If he makes a mistake, then it's all over. Luckily, Top Tom does not make a mistake. All he does is somebody has taken advantage of that. He says, thank you very much. Easy, Dubsky. I'm going to get P4 on track. But is he going to hold the line into turn 4? Maybe not, as Top Tom still goes side by side as well. This is championship contenders fighting down to the wire. This could be very interesting when we head to Brazil next week, as they're probably going to be fighting again and again. So that's very good practice for next week.
Yeah, this is, like you say, do or die now, really, for Top Tom. He needs to get a move on. He needs to try and force somebody to get a penalty. Oh, big tank slapper there from Top Tom. That was a huge issue for him, and actually he's losing a lot of ground here on some idiot. I thought his tyres went, but no, he just made a bit of an oops and got a bit too heavy on the throttle. 57% rear left. He's still okay, but now Yonti sees the papaya McLaren and goes, you know what? If I can just cause Top Tom to get one more penalty, could take that P5 away from him. This would be pretty good. So he obviously can't actually have any contact with him. He can't physically cause him to get that penalty, but if he can make a mistake by just either sending on him or something along those lines, then that would be very useful for him. But here we go then. The final lap of this Grand Prix. Chenje is your race leader. Matteo is P2. Jesper is 4.7 away from Matteo. If Matteo has some serious issues with his tyres later on in this lap, then, you know, who knows? Jesper could just suddenly close in. I thought that was a penalty for Yonti there, but no, he's okay. Tristan's getting the new penalty. Actually, here comes Yonti trying to get around the outside of Totem. He might have to go for a bit of a late send into turn 5. He does back out of it. Very smart from him there, but that would have caused a scare for Top Tom. Again, he needs to continue doing what he's doing and just make sure that he isn't just at risk of losing even more time himself. Got to press on, got to fight him as hard as you possibly can. Jesper's closed in so much time on this one lap alone, but it's not enough currently. He has to get another 1.4 seconds in order to gain on Matteo, but with Chenje being so much further on in this lap, and Matteo actually not that far behind him, I don't see how he can gain anything from here unless he gains some little cheeky penalty. We are going to go back to Yonti though, because again, he is still fighting physically for this position. Can't quite close in enough on Top Tom to gain anything. We're going to go to Chenje, who comes through the final corner, and for 2 races in a row, takes another victory here in Sochi. Matteo will cross in P2 as long as he doesn't make another oopsie, which he hasn't. And Jesper, only 3.7 seconds behind, will take P3. Samidia, who's done a very good job to take P4, Top Tom P5, Yonti P6, and Copy, who will... Oh, he's already crossed the line. He is P7. He did get the fastest lap as well, did Copy. Assassin is P8. Tristan will be P9. And Mr. Penalties himself.
Mr.
We have to watch him do the second half of his lap.
Mr. Luca Jr., I'm going to call Dave now. Sorry. You blamed it on yourself, really, by getting 18 seconds of penalties. But I'm going to look at Chenjay. He's gained 11th places. So 11 from, I think he started 11th and finished P1. Fair play to him. I'm going to give my drive of the day to Chenjay.
He couldn't wait until the race was actually over before he disconnected. He just disconnects.
He was like, that's it. I had enough.
Well, there we go. That was the Russian GP in the RNL. Driver of the day, Chenjay? Yeah, it's got to be right.
Yeah, it's got to be, definitely.
What a run from him. That was a fantastic result. Exactly what was needed. Oh, fair play. Fair play.
And we have an AlphaTauri 1-2 as well. Who would have thought that going into this race?